here. To me, it means that this gallery has reached a really special milestone with this very famous professional caliber artist. And it means a lot to both Laura and I to have you here. And the other part that's so thrilling to me too is that we actually are having a show of nudes in Newberg. Which, well,
She said that to get everybody.
that isn't a nude, I don't know what is, but I don't know. But, and what I mean by that is, Newberg is the camera's this way though, that Newberg is a pretty conservative town. And I think that our gallery's been effective in bringing things in enough that this is going to go really well. And it's going to be appreciated by many people. And then Martha and this whole theory that we were just talking about, a lifelong class of viewers. You know, it's going to happen. And this is like maybe the beginning of all of that. And so we're just thrilled. Not only does Nils have his paintings here, but he has these fabulous pots. And I think you'll talk about your origami kiln. I hear we have a couple origami parents here that babies were maybe born during this process. So anyway, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for this great work. Here and have to set the stage for any kinds of questions that you guys might have. Okay. This is entitled Play as a Creative Act. Just as an introduction to that idea, I felt that playing was an essential part of being creative, being playful. So the act of playing can be a simple pastime or an intense spiritual act. So-called deep play is different from playing with rules, which is mostly about games or game playing. Deep play has intent and usually engages fantastical imagination. Stephen Nachmanovich, in his book, Free Play, and I recommend that book, it's a very interesting book. He said, the fulcrum of transformation is mind at play, having nothing to gain and nothing to lose, working and playing around the limits and the resistances of the tools we have in our hands. Our tools are important, but they are just tools. This is a kind of divine play in the sense that there are almost no limits on the fantasy imagination. In this world, anything is possible, and the imagination can soar. Without this fantasy world allowing a no-limit imagination, the creative act is not possible. Almost as a definition, the creative act demands the divine play activity as entry to the world of dreams. In the dream world, we are simultaneously actors, playwrights, and directors. Just think of that. We're all creative. We all dream. Where do those dreams come from? We create them. Because we're directing them, we're acting in them, and we've written the script. So if we can do that in our dreams, can we not do them consciously? In that space between dreaming and clear consciousness, there is an awakening period, that waking up time. It's here that we can remember and sort out the creative ideas presented in dreaming. With some practice, we can enter the state of awakening during the day, and by learning how to play again. Play is one of the most serious activities humans can engage in. Though first world cultures like our own tend to reject it as a frivolous activity because it's, quote, unproductive, childish, and wasting of time. By rejecting play, which our culture does, as a fundamental learning tool for older children and for our adult selves, we sacrifice an essential entrance into the world of creativity. Sacrifice. Basically, it shuts the door to prospects of ingenious thinking and relegates rationality to one dimension. Play has infinite dimensions and opens all the doors to one's imagination. The risk of failure enlightens new pathways, empowers discovery, emboldens us to walk on the edge. Play is the least frivolous of human activities, although if you ask the ordinary person, particularly an educator, he will disagree. Because it ignites our most precious powers of creativity. Serious players, because they know how to play, know this intuitively and recognize its power. And I'll be glad to amplify and talk about that a little bit more. Finally, it has a lot to do with letting go. And that means letting go of control. What I'm saying here is having to do with letting go might be considered a philosophy. If so, I would describe it this way. Often, perhaps even most of the time, especially in the course of the day, doing ordinary things, we need to be in control. Driving a car, for instance, demands that we are in control or the consequences can be dire. So while there are activities in daily life where control is essential, there are other activities where losing control may activate creative pathways, otherwise closed. For example, if I'm painting, throwing a pot, or drawing, I want to engage my intuition, I want to grab it. Bring to the process any avenue that opens possibilities for surprise and play. My experience in that is that this lets things happen in unexpected ways with potentially positive results. Having control govern the creative process can have negative effects. So conscious losing of control is part of my effort to connect to the intuitive. We have a fundamental reluctance to let go of control. But once experienced, I think the positive exhilaration often cloaks any hesitance and encourages even more of a letting go. There may even be a cascading momentum when the awareness of eroding control is like a drug. Now the creative process is at a core point and total focus on the play activity is functioning efficiently. My interest in the final act of firing a pot centers on the playful combination in the environment of the anagama, or the kill, or whatever is firing my pot. The concentration and power of stoking and attention. The ambiguous intent, which is a lovely phrase, I think. I'd invite you to consider what ambiguous intent, how can you use that?